Hey yo, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to Lake Pro Tackle. This is going to be the first part in a two-part series going over the brand new 2026 St. Croix Legend X2 rods. This episode here, we're going to be focusing on the bait casting versions that we have here at the shop. Now, we don't have every single model. I think we're missing one or two right now. But we should be getting those in very shortly. So we're going to be going over the exact models that we have. We're going to be talking about the power, a very in-depth video, so stay tuned. It might be a little longer one. I'm going to break down of course, what's on the rod itself in terms of the lure rating, the line rating, going over my personal thoughts and opinions on if these ratings are accurate, because that's one of the many things that a lot of people have issues on shopping online, and you can find these at lakeprotackle.com. Rods brand to brand just vary so much, and we're going to hopefully kind of break it down for you. I might give you a couple rods that are very similar in action and style, and maybe point out some of those few things, like the little subtleties that, of course, I as a consumer as well want to know about. So hopefully this video helps you. If it does, at the end, please consider subscribing and leaving a like on it. Sharing it to Facebook, Instagram, anything like that definitely helps out as well. So my name's Sam, and let's go ahead and hop into it. So the first rod we have right here, this is, again, St. Croix Legend X2 casting rods. You're going to immediately notice on these rods, they have very articulated and almost just very well and optimized crafted handle sections here. This is one of the very unique things that I found about the Legend X2. When you're casting or holding this rod, it is very comfortable, to me at least. To you it might be a little bit different, and on the spinning especially it might feel a little bit weird, but on the casting here, this is going to be their main handle section. So it does use premium cork, and it's actually two different types of cork. It's that very compact compressed one, and then it's the soft touch cork as well. So you're getting, number one, a great feel on these rods, and let me tell you immediately as well, these blanks are extremely light. These are going to be carbon fiber blanks along with graphene, and graphene, as it was described to me, is a graphite almost powder slash material that they put into these blanks to fill the gaps and make it a denser rod. And what happens when you make a rod blank denser is it increases the sensitivity when you're dragging or moving any of your baits around. You can feel everything through those rods. Another thing with increasing blank density, you typically always increase blank weight. However, the graphene material used in these rods actually keeps it extremely light. Even compared to an NRX Plus, this is an extremely light rod. Comparing it to something like a Megabass P5 Destroyer, this is also right up there, extremely feather light. And I'm not just talking about this 6'8" rod. All the rods in the series, even the 7'4", feel extremely balanced and extremely light in the hand. And I know that's all relative to you through the camera, but I put this on a scale, a 7'3" medium heavy compared to a NRX Plus in the same category, and there was like a 2-gram difference in terms of weight. Now, along with saving weight, the guide train on these X2s use the Fuji Torzite, which is a titanium guide with a ceramic insert in there, keeping this rod, again, ultra lightweight. And the nice thing about the guides is as they move down, you're just adding more weight to the blank. However, if you decrease the weight on the blank, it increases the balance on the rod overall. So without a reel on it, your balance point is going to be a little bit above the reel section, but once you put that reel on there, it's going to balance perfectly in the hand. Each of these rods also come with a rod sock as well as a keeper for you. And talking to Dan Johnston over at St. Croix at iCast, it's hard to please everyone. Whether you're putting your lure keeper on the bottom in front of the handle, the top in front of the handle, on the back, they just said, screw it, let's just go ahead and give y'all a lure keeper, put it wherever you want. Most of the time I put my lures on the reels anyway, right between the little tension knob and the handle, especially if it's a flipping something, or if it's a crankbait, I just put it on the reel. You know, that's just me personally. Let's go ahead and hop into the 6'8". This is a medium extra fast rod. I'll show you a little bit of the bend here, going straight down and holding horizontal. This extra fast tip on this is going to increase some of the productivity with a jerkbait. Now you can tell here it is a medium. This first section, that tip, first couple guides, is very, very soft, but it is still fast. It's pretty snappy. This is going to be a go-to jerkbait rod, and one of the cool things I like about this blank system in the St. Croix Legend X2s is that it is a very tapered system in most of the blanks. There is a good amount of flex throughout the entire rod. I can still flex the back portion of it. However, it absorbs a lot of what you can put on it. Now the tip section, again, very, very light, and that is going to be great at, again, jerkbaits, lighter line techniques, lighter hook techniques specifically, allowing that bass to pull your bait into its mouth. That tip is gonna load, I guess, opposite towards you and allow that fish to get your bait much better. Now, this is again, medium power, extra fast action, and along with that, this is going to be a lure rating of 1/4 to 5/8, and it's going to be a line rating of 8 to 20. Now, I'm not sure exactly where they got their line ratings, if they're talking about just fluorocarbon, just braid, but I don't know about 20-pound fluoro. I mean, I'm sure you could throw it on this, no problem, depending on the lure. However, basing it off of a pure fluorocarbon, I would say anywhere from 6, maybe up to 15 would be my comfortable range. Maybe 17. I might give it 17. Typically, on a rod like this, I'm not throwing anything more than 17. So 20 is kind of, again, that upper range. They want to make sure they cover everything, and that is kind of where I put it. Now, again, St. Croix is going to be in the USA, up in Minnesota, I believe, and I'm hoping we can do a factory tour with them. But that is the 6'8". Again, a jerkbait rod, a weightless fluke rod, almost BFS-y. It has that soft enough tip to where it can throw probably down to like a 3/16, maybe even an 1/8-ounce moving style bait, like a ball head swim jig, something like that, or ball head swim bait. You could optionally easily throw crankbaits on this. This would be a great Megabass Z2 rod, a Z1 rod, a square bill, anything like that. It just has that really, really soft tip, which allows you to load some of those lighter baits and throw them out a lot easier. I definitely recommend a sub 100, 100 or below size reel to go along with that one, and you should have a ton of success with that. Moving up 2 inches here, this is the 6'10", medium power, extra fast action. Lure rating is almost the same. The 6'10" is going to be rated for 1/4 to 7/8 of an ounce. So very similar to that 6'8". It's just a power up. This is going to be more of your power jerkbait. Now you can still easily throw like a Megabass Vision 110, which is a very finessey jerkbait, right? So again, going back to this tip section here, it is very, very soft. So the way I like to fish a Vision 110 most of the time is very, very small rod twitches, and that softer tip is going to allow me to do that. Meanwhile, I can also move up and throw something like an OSP Rudra or a Jackal Re-Range or anything super fast, maybe even like a Strike King jerkbait, KVD jerkbait. This will have enough power in the back section of the blank. It is 6'10". It does stiffen up a lot faster. So you're gonna notice right here, this first portion, I guess that second 1/4 of the rod blank is very, very snappy here. It's just that top portion, that first 3-ish guides is where it is very, very soft, which is very nice. Which is very nice for a lot of you jerkbait fishermen, especially if you're throwing a lot of bigger style jerkbaits, and especially if you're fishing deeper ones like a +1 or a +2 Megabass or any other brand like that. you need a little extra power in the back half of the blank. Now, this one here, it is rated again for 8 to 20 pound line. I'm going to still say around 8 to 17. You could easily probably throw little finesse jigs on this, and I'm not sure if this was supposed to be a more utility style rod or exactly what it was made for, but it feels like it could be a good utility rod for lighter bottom contact techniques, something like a shaky head or a chicken shit rig, something like that, a weightless fluke. This would be awesome for that. I don't feel like it has the easy capabilities of something like a crankbait rod, but you could definitely do it. You know, that softer tip, again, you're going to be able to sling some bait super easily. And another great thing I think this rod would be amazing for is something like a mini max or even like a baby jackhammer. Something in that 1/4 to 3/8-ish variety should be awesome at skipping around docks and making tight casts into cover. Alrighty, here. Next up, we have the 7-foot heavy. So this is the shortest rod they make in the heavy variety. And you can definitely tell when you pick this one up in a good way that it has a lot more power in it. You can tell it's feels a lot denser in here. And you can hear in the blank, I mean, it is solid and it sounds hollow, which is great. I really like rods that have some of these characteristics in it where they feel super strong, and you can tell that the fibers or whatever it's made out of is a really, really high quality material, but it's still hollow enough to reverberate sound and vibration throughout the rod. So this one here, 7-foot heavy, and you can definitely tell at the end of the blank here, it shuts down pretty quick. There's not a ton of extra fast action here, although I believe it is just rated a fast. This is pretty standard for what you'd see in a lot of 7-foot heavies, and there's not many of them these days, actually. A lot of people aren't fishing that shorter 7-foot heavy. A lot of people like to go up to like a 7'2", 7'4" before they reach that heavy power, which is just so foreign to me. This is a rod rated for 14 to 25 pound line, 3/8 to 1.5. And let me tell you, 1.5, it seems like when you have a 7-foot rod like this, it seems like you wouldn't be able to do it, but holding it in my hand here, this is actually the first time I've held this specific model. I think you could easily throw an ounce, 1.25 ounces, 1.5, again, kind of at that very, very upper range. I think it might be able to do it though. It is super strong. I mean, it is fast, not super, super fast, but again, this thing has some power behind it. Whether you're throwing a frog, like a Cara frog, or even like a Bronzeye 60 pop, or anything like that, this should 100% be able to handle it. It does have a little bit shorter butt section on it, which I really enjoy, making short flips, roll casts, backhand casts, stuff like that. Very, very maneuverable. I like this length. For me, it reaches just above the elbow section, holding it right on where I normally would where the reel is, and that allows me to really maneuver my cast around. What's really cool about this one too, it's probably graded more towards braid or that heavier fluorocarbon. It says 14 is the rating for fluorocarbon, I guess. I think you could go 14 you just have to be careful setting the hook, because this thing has a mass ton of power. This is like almost a 5 rating, I feel like, in G Loomis. Probably more like a 4, but somewhere in between there. It is surprisingly strong, how well this blank is made. All right, moving on here. This is going to be the 7'1", and there's a lot of 7'1s and 7'3", so bear with me. They are all very, very close. There are a lot of differences in subtlety in the tip section as well as the overall action. So this is going to be 7'1", medium power, fast action. And let's go ahead and do that bend test for y'all, show you kind of how this rod bends. I mean, it bends pretty deep. You can see in this tip section, it is very, very soft, starting to stiffen up in this section here, and then getting very, very, very more powerful down through the blank, which is really, really cool. It is a medium, but it almost feels like a medium heavy in the back half of the rod. This first half is very, very medium. You're going to be able to do a wide range of techniques, whether it's cranking, moving baits, anything like that. If you're throwing something like a weightless Senko in wide open water, this should be a good rod for it. However, if you have grass or if you have timber or anything like that, I highly recommend going up to the next rod we'll talk about. But this one here, I didn't talk about this on any of the other rods because I think most of the guide counts are the same, but I'll go ahead and count the guides for you. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus a tip. So you have lots of guides, funnel that line through. Again, Torzite, Fuji Torzite, I believe. And you can actually find more information on all the technology that they use on these rods inside their little info card there as well. So this rod here, what would I personally throw on it? I would probably do around 12 to 15 pound line. Throwing a crankbait, that would be my absolute go-to. If I am throwing some lighter bottom contact baits or single hook baits, I might throw around 30 pound braid, maybe 25, 30 pound braid, and run braid to leader for those, just because it has so much bend in here that I need that minimal line stretch that braid offers. Very, very soft tip again, y'all. I mean, this thing is awesome. Throw in just anything that catches wind, even like small spinner baits, small chatter baits, small finesse jigs. I'm talking like Great Lake finesse or like a Kitech jig. This would be perfect for that. If you're familiar with those tungsten football mini jigs from Kitech, those are super cool. Great Lakes finesse as well. This is going to be kind of that upper level of BFS, and it is rated for 3/16 to 5/8, which is about where I'd put it. 5/8 might be pushing it unless it's like a moving style bait, like a crankbait. But this is probably one of my favorite in the series. And I think the next one was one that I actually tried out, and I'm actually going to have to talk about the next two kind of in a series together. This is another 7'1" model. This is the medium heavy fast action. Now, this medium heavy fast action 7'1" is going to be rated for 12 to 20 pound line, 3/8 to 3/4. And there's a big difference between the medium and the medium heavy. I don't enjoy when companies have a medium and a medium heavy and they feel almost the same. They just make the medium heavy blank like physically heavier. This one here, you 100% can tell. It has a little bit different action on the tip. It is a little more standard throughout the first quarter, right? The other one was really, really soft, got a little bit harder, and then really transitioned into almost a medium heavy. This one here is almost medium heavy throughout the entire blank. It does have, again, a little bit softer tip section to help you load up on fish, but it is a very, very strong competitor for one of my favorite rods. This one, again, doesn't have that super, super soft tip. It is going to be, I would say, kind of that medium heavy, going back into the last about 3 guides, and that's where it really shuts down. This one here, bottom contact, crazy, shaky heads, wobble heads, or swing heads, if you will. I mean, Dragon Texas rigs, jigs. This rod can definitely do it. And it feels just kind of like that 7-foot heavy that we were talking about earlier. That blank, it's a little bit denser. You can feel it in it. It's not, that tip section doesn't shake like crazy. You're able to get a true good feeling on the bottom when you're working this rod. It is very comfortable. They did lengthen up the handle. It feels like just a little bit on this one compared to that other 7-foot. But you can actually fact check me on their website. I think they tell you exactly what handle length it is, but it feels like it's a little bit longer, and you still have a ton of control in this rod here. This one uses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plus a tip. And these guides here, these Torzite, are not micro guides, but they're very, very small. So they're going to help funnel your line very, very easy. If you want to use braid, I highly suggest 30, maybe 40 pound braid. I wouldn't go up past 40 pound braid. 30 pound braid to 35 pound is going to be a good kind of middle ground for this rod. It does have that springy effect to it. Great for the bottom contact baits. and I'm probably missing other techniques that you can throw on this one, so don't hate me in the comments, guys. This one here specifically, again, jig rod, Texas rig rod, probably wonderful at any myriad of bottom contact lures and techniques. Free rig would be another good one because it does have that soft-ish top section, but it's not super soft. All right, moving on. We are talking about this one right here. This is actually going to be another 7'1" medium heavy, but this one is in a extra fast action. Now, the main difference between this one, which is an extra fast, and the last one we talked about, this is going to go into the tip section. Instead of having that solid tip going down, this 7'1" extra fast has a much softer tip section. You can see here, it is bending very easy on the tip section. It is very whippy. It doesn't snap back into place. It is a less dense-ish blank, if that makes sense. It's not going to snap back. And one of the issues I have with rating systems across all rod brands is fast, extra fast, mod fast. I think of the action as how fast this tip springs back to its original position. I would say, in my personal opinion, this is like a moderate fast because it whips around so much. An extra fast tip should spring right back to the starting place, kind of like that fast. That's just my personal opinion. The amount it moves should tell you, or like the amount it moves shouldn't tell you if it's like an extra fast or whatever. So, but it moves around a lot. So I guess that they're calling that extra fast, right? So keep that in mind. That's one of those things that just kind of drives me bonkers looking at rods and then going to the store and being like, oh, this is not what I thought it was. So 7'1", medium heavy, extra fast, very soft tip section. This one is going to be your more subtle, smaller bottom contact, as well as doubling over into the moving bait category up to like half, maybe 5/8 of an ounce, specifically on the rod, rated for 1/4 to 3/4. Again, a very utility rod. Being 7'1", you're able to do lots of different stuff on it. The rod handle itself, same handle style here in terms of length. Going to have 9+ a tip on this one, and this one again is going to be very good utility rod. You're going to be able to throw just about anything you want. I would say if you're throwing a treble hook bait, definitely keep it within that a 3XD range would be pretty good for this one. I would say don't go over that 3/4 even with that moving bait. It is a super strong rod here in the back section, and kind of that power translates all the way through, increasing in power. So that finishes up the 7'1" models. We have a lot of the 7'1", again, very utility rods. And I actually, one of my favorite rod lengths is probably 7'2", but it has gotten shorter over time. It used to be like a 7'3", 7'4", but now I've moved down just a little bit. So these next two are going to be each 7'3s, very similar to the 7'1", medium heavy, extra fast, and fast. This is going to be the 7'3" medium heavy fast action. It is going to be 14 to 65 pound line, so 65 being braid, 14 probably being fluorocarbon. This is going to be 5/16 to 1 ounce. I'm going to go ahead and immediately disagree with that. You can easily throw 3/16, maybe even 1/4 ounce on this rod. Being a fast action rod, it does have that same standard all the way through the blank. It's not super whippy, super soft on the tip section here, just like that 7'1". So this one here, frogging, literally just about any of your single bottom contact style baits, single hooks, frogs, anything like that. You could easily throw a buzz bait, a plopper, walking style bait like a spook, something bigger like a shower blow. That would be amazing on this rod here. This is also going to double down and be able to easily throw something like a Carolina rig, where this main tip section is going to absolutely launch bigger weights up into that like 3/8 all the way up to, or not 3/8, sorry, like 3/4 ounce and then all the way up to like that 1 ounce. You're going to have plenty of power behind it. And here, again, fast action. I mean, this should be called extra fast. The way it springs back, in my opinion, personal opinion. I know people from St. Croix are probably going to watch this, but that is my personal opinion. This one, the counterpart to that one, just like the 7'1", this is going to be 7'3", but it is a mod fast. This is a heavy power mod fast. So, oh wait, where'd my, oh, I must be missing one. Note that there is a 7'3", extra fast, medium heavy. That is very similar, you know, to that 7'1". You know, you get it. Okay, anyway, excuse me. This is a 7'3" heavy mod fast. So let's see what their mod fast does. Okay, so this one I think is mod fast, right? It is still shaking. You can't feel it through the camera. I can feel it here. It's a slower reverberation. This is what a mod fast should be, in my opinion. This one here is going to be rated for 14 to 65 pound line, 14 fluoro, 65 braid, 3/8 to 1 ounce. I think on the low end, I think they lowball these a little bit. You can easily throw 1/4 ounce on this. This would be something I pick up and, you know, throw like a 1/8 ounce shaky head with like a Senko, you know, total weight probably into that 1/4-ish range. I think you'd easily throw 1/4 bottom contact, like a little finesse jig, still get away with it. It's 7'3", it's gonna load pretty well. Again, it is that mod fast, so it's not springing back and it's vibrating, but this would double down pretty well as a big chatterbait rod. If you're throwing something like a Z-Man big blade or a bigger spinnerbait, this is going to be a great rod for you. Being 7'3", you're gonna be able to get that extra casting distance, which is really awesome. I really enjoyed that one, that aspect of it. And let me see here, see if it changes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plus a tip. So still 9 guides plus a tip. And, you know, when it comes to frogging, they make a 7'4" heavy, which we'll talk about here as the last one in this video here. But this one here being 7'3", it's a little bit different being a mod fast. I think what they were going for with this one was something like a swim bait rod where you could throw like a mag draft, you could throw any myriad of just treble hook style swim baits. I think you could easily throw like a Clutch Eco, something like a Riser Jack Jr. You could probably even throw like some smaller wake baits, something like a Sensei Swim Baits Candy Gill on this one. It is rated up for 1 ounce. So I think you could do quite a bit of different moving bait style techniques. Being a mod fast, I think it was made for treble hooks, but I think optionally you can still get away throwing some of those bigger bottom contact baits like a football jig, flipping jig, something like that, where you might want a little bit more of that bend throughout the blank section, right? So moving on to the final rod that we currently have, this one here is going to be the 7'4" heavy fast action. So going back to that fast action, it is going to spring back pretty fast, just like that 7'3" we just talked about. It is a heavier rod. It has a lot of power behind it. Very similar to the 7'1" here. These two are so close in weight. It is absolutely incredible how they made these blanks so light using that graphene and that carbon. Now, this one is, again, 7'4". It has got some extra power that 7'3" doesn't have. Long distance casting when it comes to vegetation. This is like the rod I'm going to pick up if I am flipping big weights, and trying to catch big fish. This one is rated up to 1.5 down to 3/8, rated for that same 14 to 65 pound line. I think you could definitely throw 1.5 ounces on this one. Not even kidding. This thing is an absolute beast of a rod. Again, being a fast action, heavy power, go ahead and do this for y'all. I mean, it has got some freaking juice behind it. Big frogs, big line techniques. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. I think y'all get it. But this is an incredibly light rod. You definitely feel a little bit of an imbalance that you're not used to feeling in some of the other rods that are in that medium to medium heavy range. This heavy rod is built. It is a absolute tank. Once you put something like a Bantam or like a Daiwa Tatula 200, something like that, that has that capacity as well as gear set in it, Steez A2 even, absolutely, this rod is going to balance extremely, extremely well. Now, the balance point is going to be about right here compared to the reel seat. So it is a decent way up there, but remember, this thing is freaking powerful. Absolutely love the X2s that we have in the shop right now. I can't wait to get more of them, and I hope this video helped you. Of course, we're going to be going over the spinning rods here very, very shortly, so be on the lookout for the part 2. And if you have any questions about the rods or you want to come see them, come to the shop, lakeprotackle.com. If you're virtual, across the country, across the world, please let me know. Let me know down in the comment section, type something up, ask me about it, and I will try to answer to the best of my abilities. This guy right here, this guy right here, the 7'1" medium power, fast action. If you're looking for just a amazing moving bait rod, this 7'1" medium is absolutely incredible. Again, that nice soft tip section allows you to sling baits out there. And then that 7'3" and even this 6'10". This 6'10" is growing on me a little bit. One of those rods that can still throw some lighter bottom contact, as well as, of course, hit those jerkbait techniques, stuff like that. It's almost fall time. It's almost winter. I can't wait to pick up a jerkbait again. But guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time at Lake Pro Tackle. See you guys.